Abhijeet, if you can, let's start off by talking about how you got your start in the oil and gas industry.
I would say it's probably by luck. Where I grew up, small town Barshi in India, there's no oil and gas industry. But one of my friends who I went to college with was in University of Alaska Fairbanks, and he recommended me to apply there. So I applied for master's there, got into the school, full financial funding, and that's how I came to US. And then petroleum engineering is what I did there in Alaska, and that's my start. So I've never looked back.
Talk to us about the path that you took once you started professionally working.
Yeah, so after graduation from university, I went to Louisiana, where I did mud logging as my first job. So really started at the bottom of the ladder, if you will. Then worked at Schlumberger a few years. Shell business was booming then. So I was doing fracture monitoring, planning for frac designs. Microseismic monitoring was a new technology. That's when I got the technology space interested to me. And after working at Schlumberger a few years, it was time to move on to E&P side. So went to SM Energy, St. Mary's, where I was a reservoir engineer. Developed the Eagle Ford play with well spacing, optimum well spacing, completions, and all that. And now Equinor for 7 years. My current role is in the ventures team, which is kind of I never thought about it I would get into, but it's really exciting, and we get to invest in startups who are bringing cutting edge technologies to the industry and transforming our business.
Do you have any advice for younger professionals? Of course, looking at your career and then mentioning how in the position you are now, you really didn't necessarily imagine that. Can you give us a little advice for professionals finding their way?
No, absolutely. I think you should always be open to opportunities and open to things that are around you, and then definitely make mistakes, as many as you can early on, but do learn from it, and try not to repeat the mistakes. And the opportunities will present themselves, and just grab onto it. You never know what's going to happen. For me, as a petroleum engineer, like I said, coming into technology investment space was definitely something new for me, but it's exciting.
Good path to hear there and success. Talk to us a little bit about the technology that you're seeing right now. It's playing such a huge part in our industry, and of course, that won't be changing anytime soon. Can you share a little of that expertise with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So the investments we have done recently are I should start with, historically we invested in hardware business as Equinor, and we've been doing that for 25 years plus. But recently, as the industry is transforming itself into digital and software space, so we are seeing investments there, really interesting companies as well as founders who are bringing cutting-edge technologies to the energy business. A few of them I can mention is a company like Ambient, who is transforming artificial intelligence, or combining artificial intelligence with artificial lift, and then helping with the production. Companies like Data Gumbo, we invested recently, blockchain as a service. That's also a new thing that's probably never gonna stop. We've invested in companies who it's like a Siri or Alexa for oil and gas company called Nesh. So you can ask the questions. So really cool and interesting stuff that we're seeing, and we're never gonna stop seeing those. Also, we've seen frac hit problems are really critical for industry. We have solutions for that using companies like HiCore. And so I would say, we as ETV, we're investing anywhere from hardware space all the way to software, digital, the blockchains now. So trying to be diversified. We also invested in the medical field, where we have we can put on a helmet and kind of save lives, which is a really interesting technology also.
Can you expand a little bit and talk to us about industry trends that you're seeing right now all around as well?
Yeah, so all operators obviously want to minimize the OPEX and optimize their production and maximize the value. So the technology itself is one of the key things that is helping us. And we're also seeing every operator want to scale up the business. So it's a challenge to see how we can test technologies at the same time trying to scale up or go factory mode. So that is an interesting challenge, but most of the operators know that we cannot go back to the old ways of doing things, and we really have to adopt and learn from these new technologies and be ahead of the game. So if prices do change, we're still making money.
And a final question for you, do you have any advice on home work-life balance? You know, that can be the million-dollar question for many people, whether it's routine or what really works for you there.
Yeah, so work-life balance, I think I'm lucky working for Equinor. There is a high preference to that. Normally I try to spend a lot of time with my son. So we have one son, 9-year-old, and he takes a lot of our time, but me personally, I like to play soccer and poker. So I spend my time, try to de-stress doing that. And with my wife and our son, we like to travel, so we always travel at least one country a year or more. Wow. If possible. So.
Getting that balance in.
Yes.
Definitely sounds like you're working toward that. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your expertise as well. Congratulations on this honor.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And for more on honorees and industry leaders like Abhijeet, you can find that on heartenergy.com.